Hey, welcome to Social Buzz Chat here on YouTube. We're joined by Steve Bartlett. He loves lamp, and we're talking about the dreaded M word, which is millennials, and also addressing a few of Steve's concerns with the marketing industry. Join us after the really funky intro. That's right, nod your head. Nod your head. Hello YouTube, welcome to the Social Buzz Chat Show here on YouTube again. I've mentioned it twice. I must be rattled by something.
You're rattled.
Twitter rattled me. Twitter blocked our hashtag. Start promotion, screw Twitter or something. No, don't, please. We need it. We need to use it. Who am I joined by? Introduce yourself. I can't be bothered.
My name is Stephen, and I am part of the team at Social Chain.
Part of the team?
Yes.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yes.
It's a bit humble.
Thank you.
As a CEO, he is quite humble. Just part of the team, just part of the woodwork, part of the furniture. We've just done a tweet chat. It went well, and we were talking about loads of things. And Steve knows a lot about millennials. He's already smirking for some reason. So we'll be covering that, and we will be putting an end to this millennial debate tonight, today, whenever you're goddamn watching this. Okay, but as always, we start with the same question. So, give me a brief history of your career. How did you get to where you are now? And, just...
Okay, so moved up to Manchester when I was 18 to study business. Dropped out after one lecture, had a business idea, and I felt that university was going to get in the way of me pursuing that. The idea was to build a sort of social platform where students could connect with universities as well, and anyone that had a stake in the student community. It was like Gumtree for students to cut out the fluff. And I was tasked with, after raising investment and going through all the struggles of that, figuring out how you get people to show up at a website when you have no money. And that's kind of where I started to delve into social media and marketing in general. And we really, because we had no money, we were really, really forced to think of innovative ways to get people to show up. And that's kind of how Social Chain was born. So after Wallpark, which is the website, we built a number of big communities on social media. We took all of those communities and everything we'd learned from that. We expanded on that knowledge, and brands started coming to us and saying, okay, we know you know a lot of stuff about young people or millennials, and we know you own these massive communities. Can you help us get our message out there? And I think Spotify was the first company to come to us when Social Chain as a company didn't exist. Soon the demand pulled us into turning it into a business, and there we have Social Chain, which
That was amazing. That was just like...
Was it?
Condensed.
Fab.
That was a 240-minute Michael Bay film to fit down into like the actual time that we need it to be.
Great.
You're talking about innovation, and then you threw the millennial word around and about there, and generation blah blah, Jenny K, which is Katniss. Did you know about Jenny
I don't.
K?
No.
Oh dear, that makes it sound really bad. That makes it sound like cake, which is a made-up drug. But Jenny K is Generation Katniss and is based around Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. So we're going to keep it simple. How should brands engage with millennials or the youth? And then after this, we will never, ever talk about this again. You will be the bottom line. Okay. No pressure at all. You're the bottom line on this millennial subject.
Okay, so I think that question's a bit of a tricky one. Because I guess it really depends what you're trying to achieve. But I think there's some core sort of principles when trying to figure out how to engage millennials. And so the first one for us thinking about Wallpark was, and the way we were trying to figure out how you do that there was where do they live on the internet, or where do they live online, or where do they live when they're not online? And
what do you mean by where they live?
So like where's their attention? Where are their eyeballs? Where do they spend their time?
Okay.
And so we discovered that a lot of their time is spent on social media. The stats back that up. And specifically where they would congregate millennials on social media is often around these big interest groups, around influencers and so on. And so that was the channel that we used, and we also knew that that was a much more authentic channel, and authenticity is a huge part of engaging with millennials. It means much more for a message about product X to come from influencer or social community that I follow and that I trust, rather than it coming from product X, is social media account. And so on that point of authenticity and word of mouth, millennials are influenced by their peers, and so influencer marketing was the answer, and is the one that I sort of believe in. And then it's trying to figure out, like, you know, more specific things like what you say and how you motivate them to act. And so on the point of what you say, we've always chosen to go down the path of being relatable and speaking to millennials in a way that millennials talk amongst themselves. Yeah. And so we do a lot of research into how millennials are talking amongst themselves. But as a Twitter account called Brand Saying Bay has proven, you first have to understand the perception that of yourself before you try being cool, because you'll encounter cool dad syndrome, as we call it, where, you know, it sounds like, you know, your dad is trying to be cool by using colloquialisms that maybe shouldn't be used by anyone over the age of 40.
We were chatting earlier in the green room, which is basically the pub over the road, and we were thinking of what the final question should be. And you were talking about influencers, being relatable, and basically authenticity. And the question's like, what aggravates you about, you know, like in social media and in marketing? We just brought up brands that say Bay, like, and we started to go down the route of, oh, this is really frustrating. Why are you saying Bay? You don't know your audience. But personally, from your point of view, what's really grinding your gears? What's like winding you up?
Yeah, I mean, so there's so many things. There's so many things that I look at and I think that's terrible. In marketing in general, I personally really despise going to marketing conferences where millennials are described as like, well, they're referred to as if they're this unknown like zoo animal, which investigators are examining for their behavioral patterns, like, oh, you know, and then there'll be people on stage being like, oh, you know, 25% of millennials are using Snapchat every day. Like, things like that really don't mean anything to me. And also I think that it shows how detached like marketing managers are from like the real world and millennials themselves. I hate that stuff. I hate going to conferences now because I am a millennial and I hear them describing things about, you know, usage, and usage really doesn't matter in terms of, you know, as a quantitative metric. And so other things that annoy me, fluff in marketing in general. There's a lot of fluff. Overusing marketing terminology in order to try and impress by confusing people.
Okay, I'll get you on that, yeah.
Yeah, and things could be much simpler. And I'm a big advocate of things in terminology and the way we talk about marketing being much simpler and much easier to understand for both the people we're trying to reach, but also for our clients. What else annoys me? I'll give you one more. I'll be honest, anyone that refers to themselves as a social media expert.
Oh, we've had that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't like that.
That's not up my street either.
You're not.
No, I'm not. No, I'm
social media experts. No, not you. I mean, like
the
people that are.
Kind of considered I was there.
Okay, no, you are.
All right, fine.
You can have that. But I just referring to yourself as one. I just think there's something in that which kind of doesn't appreciate the fact that you can't really be an expert in something that's always changing, and you know you can try your best to keep up with the new information and the changes, but you can't then master it at the same time. You can't do so. You can be really good at, you know, a lot of social media stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have the time. You shouldn't have the time if you're applying it to be an expert at Tumblr, Vine, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, you know, Path, WhatsApp, all at the same time. And if you profess to be, you're not. You're an expert, or you're really, really good at some stuff on Twitter, right?
I can kind of understand that whole sentence. You do just struggle with it. It's like, do you actually know? You probably do, but it's just the term.
In a month's time, all your information has changed. Those platforms, they update, you know, once a week, some of them, and you know, and they have big changes. And so I don't think anyone's an expert or has mastered any of those things. Just a lot of people know a lot of stuff.
All right, good. Because I know Steve really enjoys terminology, we're going to synergize, take this offline. What else do you want to add to it? Like, just to finish off, synergize, take offline.
You nailed it.
Hashtaggery, content marketing, hashtag everything. We're done.
Bay.
Hashtag content bay. If you'd like to look down that camera, just say your Twitter address and what you do.
My Twitter address is @_Stephen Bartlett, and I am the CEO and co-founder of The Social Chain.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for your time.
It's been brilliant, and thank you for finally killing this conversation on millennials. I can now tell every other guest coming on that it's not going to happen, and yeah,
I appreciate it.
Let's finish this like this or like that. Is it like this? I don't know. We're done. Welcome to Social Buzz Chat. We're joined by Laurie.
Laurie Nickus Alder.
And we are talking privacy, security, and are you sharing too much online?